Hello and welcome to the Brazilian BA Guests. We have different guests here every week talking about something that's interesting for business analysts or for the community of business analysis practice. And today I have a guest that came from Australia and also from Russia, my friend Igor Arkhipov. Hello, Igor. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, Fabrizio. It's nice to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I have a nice question for you today, Igor. How
Go for
is
it.
the business analyst role or the BA role or maybe the business analysis role, take it as you wish, evolving?
That's an amazing question. Thanks for asking. So, I think to answer this question, we need to first find an answer to another question, which is who is a business analyst? And then from there, we can see how that thing is changing over time. So, I've been using an example for quite a bit now when someone would approach me and ask me, what do you do as a business analyst, or why all the business analysts are so different if you look at the market. But I think over time, I've grown to arrive on different conclusion based on the same example, based on the same situation. So let me take you on a bit of a journey here, and let me use that example with you. So imagine you go to the business district of your city, and you just randomly walk around and knock on different businesses' doors, and you ask them a question. Hi guys, do you have any business analysts in your organization? And if yes, tell us, what do those people do? So if you're lucky and no one calls the police because of some weirdo asking silly questions, you will actually get as many different answers as amount of businesses you asked. Because in one organization it would be a business process girl or guy. In another organization it would be someone who looks after a backlog of things. In another organization it would be something else. And historically, I would say that there is a good reason for this. Um, I would say that it is because business analysis provides the same type of service to the organization, regardless of how the organization is structured. But then this service is manifested through different tools, techniques, or approaches. And I guess that from that point of view, you could draw a very clear line between like a good business analyst and a great business analyst. So a good business analyst would be a person who has learned their tools and techniques, and they can go to different businesses and apply the same tools and techniques brilliantly. A great business analyst would understand the value that they add to their project or their organization, and they could go to different organizations and provide the same value, even though if it means applying a different technique or a different tool or to do it through a different organizational means. However, over time, I think my understanding of this situation started to shift a little bit, because today what I see is we've got a lot of different professionals who are not business analysts by trade or by job title, but they are successfully applying things that we would call core business analysis tasks or tools or skills. And they are 100% sure that this is their job. So often I would see someone like, I don't know, a product owner, a delivery manager, a service designer, a UX designer doing things that I would say, hey, a business analyst should go and do that thing. Why is it you're doing it? And they would be like, no, it's my job. It's not their job because they need to do something else. And let's remember that for a second. I'll come back to it. At the same time, when I see really, really successful business analysts, or successful is not the right term, really appreciated business analysts who are loved by their teams, these are the people who care about their project or their business way beyond their immediate responsibility. So they would be someone who would be driving the delivery of good solutions, pretty much like a delivery lead would do or a business owner would do. However, they would do it having that foundation of business analysis skills and tools, and they would use those in order to deliver that value. And these things, they made me think maybe there is a shift about what business analysis is about somewhere in the market. One of the things that really influenced my opinion here was the latest and I think the last chaos report. You've probably heard about chaos report before. These are the guys that
Sure.
would come together every like 5-ish years and produce a huge study um, about the factors that contribute to success or failure of technology projects. And there's a funny thing there. They started about 20, 25 years ago, and they produced the first report, which was groundbreaking. And in that report, they listed that number one reason why project may fail is insufficient requirements. You failed your requirements gathering, thus you are going to fail your project. In the latest report, they say that the teams that tend to collect 100% of requirements before the start of the project are more likely to fail compared to teams that are open to continuously exploring the requirements while they're delivering the project. That's a nice kind of segue or a
Shift.
nice
Yeah.
nice shift from how it used to be into what the world is about now. And this is the interesting transition for, I guess, the business analysis role, because I mean, business analysis is intimately related to requirements part of the initiative, right, in different flavors. So in addition to that, the same report had probably an even more interesting conclusion, which I personally like. What they say is they say that advanced and successful technology teams now are moving into a new model of doing their work. They're moving from the project based delivery to a value stream model, when there is a technology value stream that constantly evolves a product or a piece of product. And that team needs to be supported by certain delivery skills. And those delivery skills, they include business analysis, they also include like planning, milestones management, dependencies management, risk management, and stuff. They call it like delivery skills or something similar. Um, those skills will be possessed by delivery professionals who are assigned to those value streams and whose job is to make sure the value stream produces value. And these people, just like the developers in a good cross-functional agile team, they will be cross-functional. So there will be lack of specialization between those delivery professionals, and there will be a team of 2 to 4 delivery professionals associated with a team with a job to unblock progress for that said team. And these people will not have specialization like business analyst or iteration manager or project manager or you name it. Uh, they will just do whatever needs to be done to make sure the team has whatever they need to produce value. And that blows my mind because it makes a lot of sense, right? And I see this happening in different shapes or forms, because once again, I see a lot of people just borrowing from each other's, I guess, historical skill set and tool set just to get their job done to help someone do their job better. So my big prediction, right? And I'm happy to be 100% wrong here because that's what happens with all the predictions. I think over time there will be less demand for business analysts as a role title, because it will be blending with other professions, be it a delivery profession such as like a project manager, scrum master, product owner, whatever, or non-delivery like service designer or UX designer. But at the same time, I think there will be higher demand for business analysis skills and mindset, if you like, because more and more people will realize that having that skill is helpful for them to do their job better. So I think in the future, I don't know, 5, 10 years in the future, we will see less words business analyst in job titles and more words business analysis in job descriptions, because more and more different professions would consider business analysis as one of the skills they have to have in order to do their role better. So business analysis would be probably a good career starter for people, because you can take that as foundation and apply different layers of industry knowledge, role specific knowledge, and do your job better. So it'll just be opening career doors for people.
Interesting. Interesting, as you said, that different roles are applying business analysis, and you mentioned that some of those roles as how business analysts are not very well defined in the industry, because you have very different business analysts playing around, but the business analysis role is very connected to the value that it must provide, the value proposition of the business analysis, and that's what make a good business analyst looking for that value proposition, and how that may be available not just for people who are titled business analysts, but this value proposition may be available to other professionals as well. It's just like if we're talking about business analysis as we talk about leadership or negotiation or some other skills that people may
Yeah.
have.
I had a much worse example in my head. Imagine, like, I don't know, many years ago, we would have something like a typist as a profession, someone who would type stuff using, typewriter or a keyboard. But now it stopped being a profession. It's a skill that everybody needs if they work with technology. So, I mean, it's a bad example, I know it. But I think something similar might happen with business analysis. From being a specialist skill, it may become just a generally used skill that a lot of people will be just applying and expecting to have at some point.
Nice. Very interesting, very interesting. And I see that you have a very good point here, Igor. Thank you for sharing. Just to end it, I would like you to mention your magazine. I know that you have a magazine, Medium, and I would like you to tell us a little bit about that, and people who wants to read articles about analysts and analysis and this kind of stuff. Where can they find it?
Yes, sure. So I think you're referring to that Medium publication that I started some time ago. It started as like a side, really small and hobby project, and I think it turned out to be a nice forum for passionate business analysts and other, yes, business professionals to share their experiences. So it can be found on Medium. It's called Analyst's Corner, and everybody who has got some interesting ideas that they wanted to share with, community of other analysts are welcome to submit their written pieces. We accept pretty much everybody. If you've got an interesting idea, just send us a note and we'll publish your piece.
Nice. And if people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way?
I think the best way is to find me on LinkedIn. So I'm always open to new connections and I'm always open to have a chat. Another way to get in touch with me is through my online courses. So I'm endorsed education provider with IAB. That sounds nice. What it means I can teach some of the IAB content legally. And I do it using Udemy platform, which is an online learning platform. And it probably is the easiest and cheapest way for people to learn a thing or two about business analysis and also earn some development points if they want to get certified.
Perfect. I will leave some links below this video if people want to see your courses, get in touch with you in LinkedIn, and also read the Analyst Corner on Medium. Thank you, Igor. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.